Hello everyone and welcome to the Bama Breakdown. I'm your host Bryant from B-Man Films, and this is your talk show for everything Alabama football. This weekend, Alabama played South Carolina in Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. And now I'll break down the box score. In the first quarter, Alabama scored 14 points and South Carolina scored 10 points. In the second quarter, Alabama scored 10 points and South Carolina scored none. It was not a very good first half for the Tide, with the score being 24-10. And then moving into the second half, Alabama scored 10 points and South Carolina scored 3. And in the fourth quarter, Alabama scored 14 and South Carolina scored 10, resulting in a score of 47-23. Now let's look at some of the stats. In the passing game, Tua completed 28 of his 36 attempts for 444 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's the third most passing yards of any quarterback in Alabama history. Alabama's leading rusher yesterday was Najee Harris with 7 attempts for 36 yards. The second leading rusher was Brian Robinson with 8 attempts for 33 yards. In the passing game, Devontae Smith caught 8 passes for 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Henry Ruggs caught 6 passes for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. Also in the receiving game, Najee Harris had a big game with 5 catches for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. This 1 touchdown was crazy right here. Go ahead and roll the film.
On fourth down conversions this year. They're going. Tagovailoa all day to throw. Crossing route, Najee Harris. Inside the 30, broke a tackle. A hurdle. And the sideline and a touchdown. What a catch and run by the guy we just talked about. 42 yards.
The game has not been going as well as it has been for the last couple of days. Skylar DeLong had 1 punt for 14 yards. And now, as we have been weekly, we'll talk about Will Reichert. He missed 1 extra point and 1 field goal. And this is not a very good stat. Since 2007, when Nick Saban took over, Alabama has missed 98 field goals. That's more than any other program in the country. Oh, and I almost forgot one last thing. This right here is absolutely disgusting. And now, one last thing about the game. First off, this was Will Muschamp's interview at halftime of the game. I was not a very big fan of this interview.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'll get fined for the rest of my life if I get commented on that.
How do you feel like Ryan Helinski handled himself?
I think he's doing a great job.
Thanks, Coach.
Not a happy coach right there.
He also knows you get 2 questions. That's it. You get 2.
And then also, Nick Saban, after beating Will Muschamp, has moved to 17-0 against his former assistants. Who knows how long the streak will go on for. Now I want to say some other things that happened over this week in college football. First off, I like what Georgia did for Arizona State's coach's wife who died of cancer. They did a pink out for her. And also, I'm very happy that Jalen Hurts is doing very good at Oklahoma. He's accounted for 880 yards, 9 touchdowns, and has a QBR of 96.8, which is the top in the league. And he is tied for the top candidate in the Heisman Trophy race. And next weekend, Alabama will play against University of Southern Mississippi at 12 p.m. or noon Eastern Standard Time. This should be a pretty easy cupcake game for the Tide, and it will be the second game at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of the Bama Breakdown. Tune in next week to hear more about your Tide, and have a great rest of your week. I'm your host, Bryant from B-Man Films, signing off.